We continue our coverage of the war in Iran. President Trump imposed an indefinite ceasefire just hours after he threatened to bomb Iran, but tensions remain high in the region. Iran fired on at least 3 ships in the Strait of Hormuz and claims it seized 2 of those ships, and that means its chokehold on the critical fuel passageway continues to disrupt world fuel supplies. Now, the president announced a ceasefire in a social media post just last night. He said, quote, "The government of Iran is seriously fractured. We've been asked to hold our attack on the country of Iran until such time as their leaders and representatives can come up with a unified proposal." I am joined by Robert Murrett, Deputy Director of the Syracuse University Institute for Security Policy and Law, and he's a retired U.S. Navy Vice Admiral. Thank you, sir, so much for your time today. We appreciate it. So my question for you today is, are we likely to see a U.S. response to Iran's aggression in the Strait of Hormuz?
Probably, Mugo. I think the question is what the response would look like and how events will unfold. I mean, we have a tale of 2 ceasefires and also a tale of 2 blockades or quarantines, depending upon which category you want to put them in. But I think a lot will depend upon emergent events, including, as you mentioned, the 2 ships that the Iranians are reportedly seizing and taking back into ports, and the 3rd one that came under fire as well. So I think a lot of it depends upon the tactical situation of the Straits of Hormuz and other considerations that may affect upcoming negotiations, which could hopefully start at any time.
And so we know the U.S. clearly has threatened Iran with destruction and then at the same time imposed ceasefires. So is there a pathway to peace here?
Well, there certainly is. I think the question is when the United States and the Iranian negotiators, such as they are, and there, of course, is clear evidence, as you've been reporting here in CBS, of a lack of unity in terms of the responses we've been getting from the different, whether it's the foreign ministry or the IRGC representatives in Tehran. So that's a factor. But I mean, there certainly is a way ahead. I think one of the big factors is which party has a more interest in getting to a negotiated settlement sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And which side, quite frankly, can withstand more economic pain, whether it's globally relative to all the parties that are affected by the closure of the Straits of Hormuz or the economic pain that's being visited upon Iran right now.
You know, President Trump has said that the U.S. will take Iran's nuclear stockpile one way or another. But what would it ultimately take to accomplish that?
Yeah, great question, Mugu. I think you make a pretty strong case that there are 2 things relative to our negotiations with Iran that are going to require some kind of a diplomatic agreement. And the 2 are the Straits of Hormuz and the Iranian nuclear program. Mm-hmm. A lot of other things relative to disputes we've got can be settled militarily in terms of military pressure and so forth. But I think both in terms of their nuclear program and also an agreement on having free, unimpeded access to the Straits of Hormuz, there's going to have to be some kind of negotiated agreement. And how long that's going to take is something we'll just have to see in the days and weeks ahead.
Okay. Robert Murrett, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate your insight.